Someone is living in your thoughts right now, and you don't even know why. You didn't invite them in. You didn't choose to replay their voice, their silence, their presence, or the way they once made you feel understood. Yet here they are, appearing in quiet moments, late nights, and random seconds of the day. And psychology says this isn't accidental. When a person occupies your mind without effort, it often means there is an emotional signal being exchanged beneath awareness, something unfinished, something unresolved, something hurting on the other side that you can't see. The mind doesn't cling to people without reason. It clings when there is emotional weight, when something real is happening beneath the surface that words never explained. Most people assume that thinking about someone means attraction, attachment, or love. But psychology reveals something far deeper and far more unsettling. Sometimes you think about someone because they are thinking about you during moments of emotional stress. Human minds are not as separate as we believe. Emotional bonds create psychological imprints, and when one person struggles silently, the other often feels it as restlessness, nostalgia, unexplained sadness, or sudden concern. This is why certain people cross your mind during calm moments, not because you miss them, but because they are fighting something internally and your mind is picking up the echo. People rarely show their deepest struggles. They smile, they function, they reply late with short messages or disappear entirely. And the mistake most of us make is assuming distance means disinterest. Psychology says the opposite can be true. Withdrawal is often a survival response. When someone is overwhelmed, ashamed, emotionally exhausted, or broken by circumstances they can't explain, they don't reach out. They pull away. They go quiet. And yet their mind keeps circling the person who once felt safe, the person they couldn't burden, the person they couldn't explain themselves to. That person becomes you. This is why someone can vanish from your life yet feel closer than ever in your thoughts. The bond didn't end. It went underground. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They intensify. And when someone suppresses pain, confusion, regret, or longing, their mind seeks relief. Psychology shows that unresolved emotional connections create mental loops. These loops don't require communication. They exist independently, silently influencing behavior, dreams, memory, and focus. One person suffers openly. The other feels it subtly without knowing why. You might notice it as a sudden heaviness when their name appears, or an urge to check on them even after long silence, or a strange sadness that doesn't belong to your own life. This is emotional resonance. It happens when two people once shared vulnerability, honesty, or emotional safety. Once that channel opens, it never fully closes. Even if circumstances change, even if pride intervenes, even if life pulls you in different directions. Psychology also explains why the person occupying your thoughts often feels distant, cold, or unreachable. People who are struggling internally don't have emotional energy to give. They conserve it. They shut down non-essential connections. They avoid conversations that might expose weakness. And yet their attachment doesn't disappear. It turns inward. They replay memories. They imagine conversations. They wonder if you notice their absence. They care quietly because caring loudly would require strength they don't have. This is why your mind keeps returning to them without logical reason. It's not obsession, it's not imagination. It's emotional information without context. Your brain is trying to make sense of a connection that was never properly closed. When endings lack clarity, the mind keeps searching for meaning. Silence is more psychologically painful than rejection because silence offers infinite interpretations, and the mind hates uncertainty more than loss. Someone thinking about you while struggling creates a psychological imprint. Their unresolved emotions leave traces in shared memories. Those traces resurface in you as thoughts you didn't consciously choose. This is especially true if you were once the person they trusted, the one they felt seen by, the one they didn't have to perform for. Losing that connection doesn't erase its emotional impact, it intensifies it. And here's the part most people never hear. Sometimes you are not thinking about someone because you want them back. You are thinking about them because they are breaking inside and your mind is responding to the emotional bond you once shared. The brain doesn't distinguish between present and remembered emotional signals. To the nervous system, emotional memory feels current. This is why you can feel concern for someone who hasn't spoken to you in months. Your body remembers before your logic catches up. People often say if they cared, they would reach out. Psychology disagrees. Caring doesn't always produce action. Fear, shame, pride, trauma, and emotional exhaustion often silence the people who care the most. The ones who disappear are often the ones carrying the heaviest internal weight. They don't want to explain their pain. They don't want to be seen as broken. They don't want to risk being misunderstood. So they suffer quietly, while their thoughts drift toward the one person who once made them feel safe. If someone keeps appearing in your mind, it doesn't mean you need to act. It doesn't mean you should chase or reopen wounds. It means the connection mattered. It means something real existed. And psychology confirms that real emotional connections leave long-lasting cognitive and emotional imprints. They don't fade on command. They fade when processed, understood, and accepted. Until then, they surface in subtle ways, through memory, emotion, and unexplained thought patterns. Sometimes the most painful connections are the quiet ones, the ones that never ended properly, The ones where nothing dramatic happened, yet everything changed. And when one person struggles silently, the other feels the echo without knowing the source. That's why they occupy your thoughts. Not because they want to haunt you, but because somewhere inside they are still holding on, still hurting, still remembering the version of themselves that existed when you were part of their world. And if this resonates, if someone came to mind while listening to this, psychology suggests it's not coincidence. It's unfinished emotional processing. Not destiny, not fantasy. Just the human brain responding to emotional bonds that were real, meaningful, and unresolved.